Preetish is an expat in Germany, currently working at VSC Aviation as a product line manager, and has been in Germany for a pretty good time today. And he has joined in today to share a bit about his journey in Germany, his education path, and how he has grown himself professionally. Preetish, thank you for joining us for today's session.
Thanks, Saurabh. Thanks for having me.
Great, Pritish. Pritish, to start with, I think you're almost closing like 5.5 years in Germany now. How has been the journey to sum it up?
Yeah, I came here in 2017, so it's been like 8 years. To be very specific, I flew in on the 17th of September. So I believe last week was my anniversary of 8 years. And
Wow. Okay.
yeah, it's going well, I would say. 8 years, learned the language and trying to navigate through the whole processes, the systems, and yeah, feels good. I feel I made a good bet.
Amazing, amazing, Pritish. Really motivating because I've known your journey personally. I mean, the way you have navigated from the ups and downs, but really inspiring the way you have gone through. And I've been a person who have taken a lot of mentorship from you yourself. So I can just speak volumes about your journey here. But one very interesting aspect here, you are one of an alumnus of the TU9. So you have done your studies from TUHH University, and I believe you did it in MS in Mechanical Engineering. Walk me through how was this course that you studied in? When did you start with this course, and how did you decide to go about with this altogether?
Yeah, sure. So I graduated from my bachelor's in 2015. So I worked for 2 years until 2017 for a German company, and this company was headquartered in Balsheim, that's south of Germany, but they had an office in Bangalore. So I was a sales engineer for them. While working at this company is when I like had this opportunity to communicate or like have discussions with my German colleagues, and then the interest of Germany sparked in. That's the genesis or like how the idea came into my head. And in 2017, I applied for this course. It's called Mechanical Engineering and Management at the TUHH. Um, Currently, it's called TU Hamburg, and yeah, the process was pretty straightforward back then. We were supposed to like put in our grades, and then there was like a pre-check. And after the pre-check, after somebody clears the pre-check, they will send you like a form, like a ECTS form, and then go through the entire process. But I believe this has changed over the years because I applied in 2017. It's been like 8 years. Overall, it's I would say like the prerequisites or like the documentations needed have remained the same, but some additional say exams or ATS, I believe, is a new process. So
Yeah,
sorry, APS if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So
APS. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
so these have been introduced very recently, but back then it was just English language, and for that either TOEFL or IELTS. And then my work experience, my courses that I've taken in bachelor's, and the grades that have scored in bachelor's were like the major factors that played a role.
Interesting. I think it's very interesting you talked about your academical background there. Very interested to know like how was your scores like when you applied your bachelor scores, your IELTS scores, and if any other exams that you gave
Oh man, it's been 8 years.
at
Okay,
that
let me
time.
try to remember. My CGPA was 8.33, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 8.33 was my CGPA back then, and then IELTS 7.5 out of 9. So these
Okay.
were my scores back in 2017. But yeah,
Yeah.
my feedback is um, my scores do not matter to the students that are applying now because year over
Hmm.
year everybody keeps scoring well, and then the
Yeah.
competition becomes much more harder. And my score should not be considered as like the benchmark in order to get into the TUHH, because I remember my
Absolutely.
sister applying. She also got into TUHH last year, and yeah, with her grades and her like her peers, her fellow classmates, I was just asking her like, what kind of grades does your classmates have? And there is a significant difference, meaning the cutoffs have been very tight over
Very
the
high.
last years,
Yeah,
considering there is
absolutely.
huge competition.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think considering TUHS, I mean, the name that is have it has in Germany, I think the cutoff has been really high. I think somewhere around 8.5, 8.6 now. I think has really increased.
Yeah.
And I think so with the IELTS. But interesting to know the background that you have. Also, your bachelor's was in a similar field, right? Like you did it in mechanical engineering MS. So your bachelor's was also in a similar field. How was
Yes,
that?
correct. I did my bachelor's in mechanical engineering from
Mhm.
PESIT Bangalore. So
Okay.
I graduated in 2015, and 2017 is when I came to TUHH.
Understood. Also, your experience, did you feel that your experience helped you to get into the university? How pivotal was that?
Yes, I would say yes, because the nature of this course was like mechanical engineering and management. So it's like
Hmm.
50% of management related courses and 50% of technical related courses. And in the job that I did after my bachelor's, I was a sales engineer. I was basically selling cutting tools to various
Yeah.
sectors, power industries, automotive sector, aerospace sector. So I had a little bit of sales knowledge gathered there. And then basically my CV portrayed myself as an engineer who has a technical background and
Hmm.
a passion for selling products. So this was my CV, and I believe it really uh, made my case to the university that okay, this guy has an engineering background and a little bit of management job experience, so made me a pretty good fit for the course.
Understood. Also, looking at the depth of the course, very interesting that you told that how it's divided 50% technical, 50% focusing a bit on managerial there. Do you feel that this division of this course, the way the course had been structured, it's very relevant today's job market because you did back in 2017, right? So looking at 2025, how relevant is
Um,
this course?
I would say no. For today's job market, this course is not relevant. And I have several reasons to support it. Simply because
Yeah.
this course becomes very broad, and then when it becomes a broader course, there is too many people applying to it, and then of course, I believe there is also too much intake for the course. When that happens, the companies that are giving a job to a candidate will look for specific skill set or like specific experience. So this course is not, I would call it like how do I put it, this course for today's job market is not an ideal course. Something which is along the lines of what are the skill sets that the companies are looking for. If you can find those skill set in the course that is being taught, that
Mm-hmm.
makes more overlap.
Understood. Got it. So coming to that question, I mean, we since just talked about your academical journey, and we've just entered talking about a bit about the relevance of it in the job market. What do you feel the approach of students should be? Because many students, as if you know, they go with the name of the university rather than really deep diving in the course and understanding the job market. So, like a one sentence advice, how should the approach be? More should be skill set oriented, or should be more course and university oriented?
It should be more skill set oriented. And speaking of skill set, language skills is at the top, because
Interesting.
most of the companies here, they're called Mittelstand. Mittelstand is like MSMEs in India, where they are family run businesses. They contribute to, say, maybe 40% of the German economy here. So all these companies have like core German speaking people as their colleagues, and they want to be recruiting personals who are also speaking the same language. So this is like focusing on like the majority of the companies that are spread across the country. But of course, there are multinational companies, excuse me, like Airbus or you pick any name, pick any sector. There will be a multinational company headquartered in the US, and maybe language does not matter there. But from my experience, it's more skill set and German language being at the top of the skill set.
Understood. And talking about German language, Uh, can student come to Germany who is not having any experience with the language and come and study here? Is that room there?
It depends on which sector they want to play, want to get a job in. For example, for somebody who is like looking to seek a job in a coding or like a coding environment, or like a company which deals with development side of the software development, they don't need language. If
Hmm.
the candidate is trying to seek a job in the management side of the domain, they need language. For the management side of the job roles, language is most important. And then when it comes to say technical side or like research side, it's again a 50-50, I believe. Language plays a major role for technical roles, especially in these car making companies, or like anything that is producing anything where there is research happening. I believe language is a major criteria. But my recommendation to students who come to Germany is at least have basics like A1, A2.
Yeah.
If you have that basics covered before you come to Germany, you have some ground to hit the ground.
Definitely, even I recommend so. But I believe that our university does give the provision of learning the language. I remember in my university, we used to have extra classes. So student who even do not have any language efficiency, they can come here and learn the language, right? I
Yeah.
hope that.
That is correct. So basics they can learn in the classroom, like how to spell 1, 2, 3, 4, or like how to spell
Basic.
articles. These are taught
Yeah.
in classrooms, basics. But the real language learning capable opportunities is always speaking to colleagues or speaking to friends. So I
Yeah.
personally feel language can be picked up much better if you put yourself among 10 German speaking people. Like just get in get in the group and then try
Yeah.
to continuously listen to what they're talking, and then you pick up the context, and then you understand, okay, this is how like me personally, I have learned the language that way. I have not learned it like from the classroom really helps only for the basic level. But if you want to
Yeah.
like advance it, to me, like personal recommendation is always keep talking to people.
True, true. I think spend as much time with your German colleagues. I think I think the idea of language is also about the fear of speaking. I think when you're around your German colleagues, you become more open. I think that also helps. But yes, for students, definitely you can come here and study the language. And as Pritish has mentioned, some basics really helps. So, a really great advice from Pritish there. Pritish, coming to your professional path. So, how did you navigate your journey? I believe that when you were studying, you were also working as doing your internships, and later on you transitioned to different roles and then started a full-time job. So, what are the companies you worked for, and what did you do? How did you understood your niche, and what has been your learning on this journey?
Yeah, sure. So there are two types of student jobs. One is like internship, and the other one is called WAC student, or like working student. And this
Mm-hmm.
working student is like a year-long job wherein you can work only 20 hours a week. So I started my career as a working student for GE, General Electric
Mm-hmm.
Oil and Gas Division, for the product management functionality. So I guess I joined them in 2018 June. So it took me like 6 + 3 9 months to crack this job interview for like a working student role. And then I had this job until end of 2020. So basically until the end of my student status. So working the best thing about working student jobs is they keep extending your contract as long as you stay a student. For an internship, I believe it's like 6 months full time, and then you can work only for 6 months in the 1 year. I believe these things have changed over the years, because I remember mine used to be 120 full working days a year. I believe now it's like 140, 150 full
140.
working days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So working student job is something that gives you job security throughout the year, with minimum workload on a weekly basis. So that's where I began. Pretty much the salary you get on your working student job is enough to pay your rent, pay your food, miscellaneous expenses, and then pretty much live off of it. And
Mm-hmm.
getting the job was a challenge. As I mentioned, mechanical engineering and management is of course very broad, and then companies always look for specific skill set. The specific skill set I had was only in sales, so I had to like mold my CV in the direction of product management. And how I did it is showing my case studies or the courses that I took in my university as example, and then I molded my CV. Because whenever you're applying for a job, the CV or like your resume should not like, to me, this is what I've learned, it should not mention what I have done for my entire life, and then leave the option for the hiring manager or recruiter to choose from the points. Okay, he will probably satisfy this. It should be more along the lines of what their requirement is, and then among their requirement, what do I bring on the table?
Understood.
So in that way, like this is how I have learned it the hard way, I believe. My recommendation to all the students is try to apply to the job role by understanding the job description, and then making your application more aligned towards how better of a fit you are to the job description given.
Wonderful advice. I totally
So
agree with
yeah,
that.
a little
So
bit of digression there, but yeah, speaking of my path until 2020, working student job, GE, and then COVID hit. I graduated in the
yeah,
middle of COVID, so
yeah,
2020 and 2021, no jobs. Basically, I was not a student anymore, so no working student. And then I used to do all sort of odd jobs, delivering groceries for Flink. Went through all those typical student life situations, and then 2022 January is when I began my full time with VAC Aviation as a product line specialist. So it's again a product management role. So what got me this job is my working student experience in the product management division, and
mhm,
a little bit of technical or like engineer background. So these were the two
absolutely.
major overlap that got me this job.
Mhm.
And yeah, since 2022 I've been with the company, held different roles, business analyst for a year, and now product line manager for the last 8 months, 9 months. And yeah, it's going on well. I This is my path, I guess.
Amazing. Very inspirational. I think one thing we can learn from a path is not to give up. I think
Yeah,
there are challenges that comes up, but you keep pushing and focusing on your skill set, your individuality and what you really want to do
yeah,
and work on. I think you figure it out over the time. And I think
yeah,
the same recommendation goes to the students, like irrespective
absolutely.
of a course study, irrespective of the university, focus on your skill set and try
Yeah,
to align your job accordingly. I think that's
yeah.
a very good advice from you, Pritish.